As a worker stuck on the machine, the hatch got stuck. To avoid reprimand and losing pay, he broke rules and sweep inside. Otherwhere his will change his fate. As he moved free, the hatch closed automatically. After an unknown time, once the program completed, the hatch reopened. A robot dragged the barely alive Naps out like a rag doll. Though his life was saved, fatal radiation exposure meant his organs would fail catastrophically, and he died in 5 days. However, when the wealthy boss learned of the accident, he didn't arrange treatment or compensation for Max. Instead, he was disgusted Max had dirtied the factory's sheets. To him, a worker's life was insignificant. Still, he only had his men give Max a 5-day supply of pills and told him to get out. Max witnessed this horrible fact, knowing the greedy boss would pay a bloody price for his error. Checked out, Max stumbled back to the slums. With only 5 days through it, he knew his sole chance with Ruvium's medical pod, so would his friend Brave. Max summoned Crowley, the top hacker and local crime boss. Crowley forced Agabity to the port to enter Lithium. But his fees were very high, and Maps was conceived broke. He hoped to board on Clyde, committing to work out his death for Crowley later. Crowley left in disbelief for such an outrageous request. He was about to send Max away when he learned that Max had only 5 days to live. Crowley's attitude changed instantly. Not only did he offer a free ticket, but he also published 3 food and drinks at the trade. In return, to constrict a dangerous task that no one else dared to do. Although he knew it could cost him his life, it was his only chance to survive. He basically, Crowley revealed her condition. Maps has a rather wooden cricketing earth and extract of it stored in her brain to do every exoskeleton in perfect conform to his arm. Max experience and unparalleled serves a mighty potent power. Without wasting time, Max set out with his friends Brick and Crowley front men. Meanwhile, in the factory office, the Roddy boss calling a FIFA says into his brain. Their engine would turn to lithium under the protection of 2 robots, completely unaware of the impending attack. Just as the spaceship took off, Mac, who had been lying in wait, shot it down, but Edda's engine caused the spaceship to skiff and crash at the city's edge. Mac and his team quickly drove to the crash site, trying to forcefully break open the hatch. But the boss had already spotted them and immediately ordered the robot to kill. As soon as the robot received the orders, they stepped out of the hatch and threw a bomb. Under the powerful blast of several explosive rounds, the robot that missed the initial strike was directly blown to pieces. Then, under head and fire from his companion, Nex managed to rip the head off the other robot. Unfortunately, the wealthy boss was hit during the fight and was on the verge of death. Nex had no choice but to sing Potato like bear. Once the copy was complete, they realized that Ada was just a jumble of gibberish. They had little time to investigate further, as military reinforcements were already on their way. Seeing the spaceship getting closer, they knew they had to escape immediately. Before they could see the enemy, a Z-bomb hit, knocked his friend Brave the stand by the meter covering Max's estate. No time for grief. Max abandoned his friend's body, fleeing onto the sandstone's cover before the leader recovered. He avoided capture, but his injuries made a hospital with impossible. With nowhere to go, he looked Frey, a nurse and childhood friend. Not wanting her to see him like this, but unwilling to die, he secretly went to her house for help with his ruse. The next morning, Max confessed his ordeal to Frey, then saw "Oh girl, Lamorge." Max realized Frey had a family, leaving him feeling out of place. He was about to get up and leave when Frey immediately halted him. After she learned of Max's predicament,